The next move for Bitcoin and really the entire cryptocurrency market, probably not what you're expecting. We could be getting ready for a major relief rally for the cryptocurrency markets. Just at this time when everyone's super bearish, we could see things pumping back up. But what does a relief rally mean? How high could we see this going? And why do I think that this could be what we are looking at in the near future? Get into that in today's video. My name is Lark. I talk about cryptocurrency. If you enjoy that topic, a little whack on the thumbs up button would be most appreciated. And of course, if you're not signed up for the newsletter yet, you gotta get signed up. It's free to get started. Our subscribers absolutely love it. We talk about crypto, DeFi, NFTs, altcoins, and much, much more. So make sure to check it out using the link in the description. Now, let's go ahead and get into this topic. So, Bitcoin, man, what a just mind-blowingly boring, well, almost 2 weeks now, about 10, 11 days running in a row, super low volume. And look at the price action. We've just been bouncing between $28,500 and $31,500. That's some damn boring price action for Bitcoin. Look, my guess, things are going to get exciting pretty gosh darn soon. Bitcoin has a habit of going real boring and then really exciting. Not always in the ways you expect, but definitely exciting without a doubt. Next, let's take a look at this chart here. So this shows that we are currently sitting at a very key place of price support for Bitcoin. This level where Bitcoin's currently sitting at the moment, if we look past the extreme panic of the UST and the Luna collapse that brought us down to $25,000, the main area of price action has been right above this area of price support, which has been a key area of price support at the start of 2021, a key area of price support mid-2021, and now once again finding itself to be a key area of price support. If we hold here, I think that is going to give us some potential bullish price action moving forward as we bounce off this line of support and try to claw back some gains in this market. Also, you can take a look at this here. Our MACD has just flipped bullish again. So this happened a few days ago. You can see right there, we have flipped to once again being bullish on the MACD. This is on the daily charts. Now look, the MACD is not a perfect indicator by any means. We have had certainly plenty of times where we've had this bearish price action going on and we get these short-term flips of bullish price action on the MACD. So we might have the bullish crossover, we get a week, 10 days, something like that of bullish price action, and then it turns back down. We might have 3 or 4 of these flips, for example, before we actually establish a strong new bullish trend moving us upward, helping to recover the markets. I'd also like to point out here that we are still dramatically below the key moving averages. This right here is the 50-day simple moving average. That's the 200-day simple moving average, which is about $12,000 away from us right now. And as we have said many times on this channel, that's the bull bear line, man. Trading below that, we're in a bear market. Trading above that, we're in a bull market. It's a very simplistic breakdown of things, and there's a lot of other factors, but that's kind of a way that I just use as a rule of thumb to understand where we are at with the markets. And you can see we are still a long way away from that line. History is being made, though, so, congratulations for being here, surviving, and you'll be able to tell stories about this in the future. I was there for when Bitcoin put in 8 straight red weekly candles. That's what just happened. Our 8th red candle in a row on the weekly charts for Bitcoin. Never happened before in the history of Bitcoin. In fact, the previous biggest one, single run of incredibly bearish candles was 6 weeks in a row. So this is the most consistently bearish Bitcoin has been in its entire history. 8 weeks of red candles, which makes me think that yes, a relief rally should be in the works pretty gosh darn soon, fingers crossed anyway, to see if we can get that to happen or not. Here's a little bit more hopium to stuff in the old hopium bong here. Huge bullish divergence right now forming up on Bitcoin. So as you can see, these bullish divergences, essentially what we have the price hitting a low and then a further low some point down the line. That combines with RSI hitting a low and then a higher low further on down the line. So that is where the bullish divergence comes in. You see we had one back here in 2021. Price came down, price low here, price went lower later on. But the RSI actually hit its low point on the first sell-off and was much higher on the second sell-off, giving us a bullish divergence. You can see exactly what happened afterwards. Boom! Massive price action for Bitcoin. A big launch pad basically was built here and it blasted right off like the rocket ship that it can be sometimes. Right now, we are in another bullish divergence situation. We had our initial low come in. We had a bit of hope for a while, smashed back down. We got a new low. Of course, this all coincides with the initial low on the RSI, the secondary low on the RSI, but at a higher level, which again is a bullish divergence. So does that mean we have a big rally brewing up for the crypto markets? We can also factor in, of course, the macro scene. And obviously we have to factor in the macro scene because it is so much in the driving seat when it comes to what is happening in the cryptocurrency markets. Look, we all want Bitcoin to be, completely decoupled from these markets. But the reality is that the more institutional money, and in fact, the more retail money has come in, we are tracking closer and closer with the general sentiment that we see in the equity markets. Just the way that it is. So the dollar just hit its highest level in 20 years, the dollar index, the DXY, highest level in 20 years. Massively overbought on the RSI, as you can see right here. What's very interesting, we hit that super overbought level and we retraced. So we are currently retracing from that high of about 105 down to around 102 right now. So we just came over that previous area of resistance, just by a little bit though, and now we are trending back down. Now, if the dollar index falls further, I think that becomes very bullish for the cryptocurrency markets, as a falling dollar index means people are moving back into risk assets, at least short term. That's something we can be looking at. We also had the S&P 500 having a little bit of a bounce. So the trading closed out last week with the S&P 500 getting into bear market territory. Now, it's really important to point out here, it did not close the weekly candle in a bear market. During trading, end of the week last week, we came down, we wicked down into what would be considered bear market territory for the S&P 500. 21% down, so 20% is where we count a bear market starting from peak to trough. We closed the weekly candle for the S&P 500 19% down, so not technically in a bear market, 1% away, obviously. My thought here is, well, we had this bounce. Are we going to now find a bit of maybe short-term support here in the equity markets with the dollar falling, with the S&P 500 finding that late week recovery? Will we get a bit of a bounce in the equity markets? A 10, 20, 30% rally, something like that, maybe bringing us back up to, some of these areas in here, for example. And if so, that potentially becomes very good for the cryptocurrency markets. Because if we see a rally in the S&P 500, it'll mean a rally in the NASDAQ, and it'll mean a rally for Bitcoin. What's interesting, too, is that old man Buffett buying hand over fist as we saw the markets plunging last week. Very interesting. Old man Buffett out there buying up stocks that he sees as being on sale. He sees this is a good time to be averaging into some of my favorite stocks. And look, while old man Buffett may have got Bitcoin pretty gosh darn wrong, one thing that you can't argue with, the dude knows what he's doing when it comes to investing. We literally quote some of our most famous investing quotes from Buffett. The guy knows investing. right? He may not get tech, and he's famously missed out on tech on multiple levels, not just Bitcoin, but he does know when to buy, and he's been buying. Now, let's talk about the potential for a relief rally here. So, what is a relief rally? A relief rally comes in after we've had all this bearish price action. So we've seen the price come all the way down to $25,000. Now we could be getting ready for a rally that potentially moves us up back up to quite a bit, right? We could actually see Bitcoin coming up back up to $36,000, $37,000, $38,000 as an example, bouncing back up here, trying to potentially test this trend line right here, which if we break over that would potentially offer us some nice bullish sentiment moving forward, but you really want to make sure that it's a confirmed breakout, because you know what happens so often in these situations. You get a little bit of move above, fake out, slam right back down. So we need to keep an eye on that and not maybe just, manage our expectations when it comes to breaking through this trend line here. But that's what a relief rally is all about. It builds your expectations up. You start thinking, well, that's it. It's all over. The worst is behind us, straight to the moon, new all-time highs, coming soon to a portfolio near me. But you have to remember, until we break that trend line, until we get back over the 200-day simple moving average, which is right here, blue line on the chart, until we do those things, we're still in a very bearish state for the price action, for the technicals, for the cryptocurrency market. So what will happen, we'll get the price pumping up $37,000 or something like that. Altcoins will all go up 40, 50%, something like this in this scenario, right? Everybody gets mega bullish again. Everybody starts throwing all their stable coins in. This is the new rally. It's real. We get up here. We start grinding into resistance at either of these key lines. People start, throwing all their money in, and blammo, we fail to take out resistance. Markets come back down, and we end up with a scenario that could look something like this. Not saying this is the most likely scenario. I'm saying this is a scenario that you can think about. Price comes up, slammed at the trend line, pushed back down, come back down to even test potentially the 200-week simple moving average, around $22,000 to $23,000 for Bitcoin. Of course, altcoins would be devastated in that situation, more devastated than they already are, we shall say. If we break above this, then I will change my tune a little bit and say maybe this isn't a relief rally. Maybe this is actually the start of something new in spite of all the macro craziness going on here. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this situation, but just keep in mind that if we do see the prices rallying, and look, maybe some bad news comes out in the next 12 or 24 hours and markets crater once again, because that's the kind of weak market we're in sentiment-wise, where people freak out no matter what is going on. But if we do start seeing the price go up, let's start watching those areas, $36,000, $37,000, $38,000, where we see this, of course, price support, as well as the trend line coming in together here. So it'll be very important areas to be watching, in my opinion, to reach, of course, during a relief rally, but then to get beyond to say it's not just a relief rally for the markets. We're actually potentially trying to establish a new trend here for the cryptocurrency markets. Interesting as well, sentiment-wise, people mega bearish, obviously, across the cryptocurrency market. Everyone's now calling for, super, super lows. And it's just such a funny thing, because the sentiment, the human emotions in crypto, it's always kind of playing out the same, which is why we are now following along with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and stuff. It's not that we're following those indexes. It's just that human emotions is all the same, right? The same people, all the same retail investors, the same institutional investors that are invested in the stocks, they're invested in crypto as well. They're going through the same emotional roller coaster. The same macro effects are affecting the crypto markets, because they're affecting the investors who invest in stocks, who invest in real estate, who invest in metals, who invest in all things. Fear has been very, very high recently. We actually got our lowest reading in 2 years late last week, an 8 on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Lowest we've seen it in 2 years. That kind of fear is very noteworthy because it tends to mark bottom scenarios. And again, we're not going to say definitively the bottom is in. I just gave you a scenario where you could see Bitcoin going down to an even lower price, right? But those kind of fear moments do tend to mark bottoming situations for the market, or at least provide great buying opportunities for the long-term buyers and holders in the market. But it's so funny that when we get to tops, everybody gets overly bullish. When we get to bottoms, everybody gets overly bearish, right? At $69,000, everybody's calling for $100,000 Bitcoin. Lark, come on, man. But when we see massive bearish sentiment, then all of a sudden, Bitcoin's going back down to 3K, Bitcoin's going down to 10K, stuff like this. It's interesting how human emotions work. Thinking about that bearish sentiment in the market, though, does have me feeling that kind of, going from 6 to midnight kind of sensation, if you will. Opportunities potentially in the market, right? And I think a lot of people, if we do get this relief rally coming in, which is obviously just a theory, but if we do get this relief rally coming in, I think we will see a lot of people looking to take some profits on that relief rally, or even not profits, just getting out for less losses, because all that macro situation is still with us. Anyway, just my 2 Satoshis for the day. You'll let me know your thoughts on whether or not you think we're going to get a relief rally coming in for Bitcoin, whether or not we're going to come down to test the 200-week simple moving average around $22,000 to $23,000, or any other thoughts that you have on today's video down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.